Okay, so I don't know if I'm on ADHD TikTok, but I feel like the conversation has really been like a big one, just kind of like in the last couple of years, but really this year and just mental health and all those things, right? And so I want to talk about how I found out I had ADHD at 26 years old, a high achieving Black woman. So we can describe high achieving as like great grades, scholarship, job, successful business, mom, wife, all those things. Like, whatever, success is relative. But the typical definition of what people expect success to be, like degreed, all of those things, right? I had all of those. One day I was actually at my mom's birthday party and I was like helping my cousins like set it up, and I was like the only person there, like kind of early. Well, one of the only, it was me and like my other cousin that were like there and like setting up and stuff like that. And I was getting so overwhelmed and agitated by just like everything. But it was like a familiar feeling. It wasn't necessarily like my mom's birthday party that did the thing, but I think that day I was so in tune with what I was feeling, and it felt like it was so unnormal. Like I felt like, oh my God, we're missing this, this, and this, and this, and this. And oh my gosh, like what are we gonna do? Like I was panicking, I was overwhelmed, and nobody else seemed to like care. I was like, am I tripping? Like, am I experiencing a different reality? And so I actually went on my Instagram on close friends, and I actually had a couple of close friends there too. And I was like telling them how I was feeling. And I was like, I don't know, like I'm starting to think like something's just different with the way that like I process life. And like like I always just thought maybe I'm just like intense. Like I was just an intense person, but I never really thought like, oh, maybe I have ADHD. But I have one of my closest friends, she went to school for psychology, and she had been talking about like she would joke around and be like, no, you have ADHD. Like, we would joke. Well, I thought we were joking. She was being serious because she had read that DSM-5. I had not read the DSM-5, so I didn't really know what that was. And so I had one friend who was actually at the birthday party, and she was like, I always thought you had ADHD. Like I always, and I'm like, really? And I was like, interesting. And so, well, she thought ADD, which now that more language has come around, they've kind of like diagnosed them one and the same and kind of put people on the spectrum. So like I was diagnosed with ADHD with severe inattentiveness. So I put on my close friends and I was like, this is what I'm feeling. Like, these are the things that I feel like. I just feel like I get super overwhelmed. Like I get, super depressed and shameful and all these other things like about stuff like that. And I had like, I kid you not, so many people, your close friends on Instagram, like, some people are like, you're cool with, but a lot of them are close friends who have experienced you in an intimate way. And I had so many people be like, sounds like you have ADHD, sounds like you have it. I was like, what the? I'm like, so everybody's just been watching me look like I have ADHD and nobody wanted to tell me I had ADHD? Like nobody. Anyways, so I immediately, Monday comes and I'm like calling everywhere. I'm like, trying to see who takes my insurance, where I can get in quick, because I like need to know. I kid you not. I did a couple of sessions with the psychologist that I found. I did a written exam, and another session, and I was diagnosed like with the quickness. And mine wasn't necessarily, well, I mean, I don't have like a history of ADHD in my family that we know of, because one, I don't think that like it's something that has been tested a lot in my family, or something that like people thought of. I don't think it's, especially in Black culture, I don't think that it's something that anybody had thought of. But he said it could come from like a lot of things. Like, so for instance, like growing up in a household where maybe like there was stress, or you were forced to grow up maybe, or you maybe went through like traumatic things when you were younger. Like sometimes we can like freeze and not develop beyond a certain point, and the coping mechanisms that we develop that young kind of alter our brains. And so for me, it was like I was the oldest of three kids, didn't know my dad, relationship was weird with like stepdad, so like home dynamic was very interesting, right? And then I also just took like a lot of responsibility, and I feel like a lot of responsibility was given to me. And yeah, so that all of that can kind of evolve. Like your environment can also bring upon like neurodivergence, which is kind of insane. I also do think that it may be genetic. I just don't think that we have the information because people in my family have not been tested. So literally, like once I started to like actually research ADHD and find out what it was, every single thing that I had ever gone through in my life was ADHD. And mind you, I've been diagnosed with like severe postpartum depressive disorder. I was diagnosed with like anxiety in college, and none of those like really ever fit because I didn't feel that way all the time. Like, yeah, I know, like I feel like I only had maybe one time in my life where I was just like depressed, like no showers, no, like just like super like over it. And that was like in college. And even then, like it just never gave that. Like even when I had my baby for the first time, and I do think I dealt with like postpartum depression, but I really think that for me, motherhood was the thing that I could no longer mask my ADHD in. Like it would be to the point where like I would be going late to my son's doctor's appointments because of my just lack of time management and time blindness. And now I have to like reschedule the whole appointment, and things like that. So that information kind of like, I was like, I can no longer mask in that way. Whereas like in high school, like class president all 4 years, all A's, like got a full ride scholarship to college, like all I could mask. Like it didn't feel hard. Like I think college I started to say like, oh, like I can't use the same tools that I use. Like I think I got my first C in college, I was devastated. I also like couldn't overcommit in college like the way that I could in high school and still balance it. So like in college I was like speaker for like a semester, which is also like president. I went to like a very liberal arts quirky school. which is like a president, and I had to quit because I literally like could not manage it. I couldn't do what like I needed to do. And if I like in high school, if you don't do what you need to do, you kind of finesse. I couldn't finesse like that in college, and I definitely couldn't finesse like that in motherhood. So many things like forgetfulness, not being able to text people back, not wanting to engage, like feeling like my social battery, like after I did engage, was like completely gone. If I don't like do something that I tell myself I'm gonna do, like, oh, I'm gonna get up and work out, oh, I'm gonna, do this, I'm like just like shame, like I feel completely shameful, like I think I'm the worst person ever, I hate myself, like all those kind of things. Like if I don't do something that I said I was gonna do, it takes me so long to do something that I said I was gonna do, to the point where like I would wait until the day of to like start something. Like it's very hard for me to start something ahead of time and to be proactive in that way. Insane amount of money on hobbies, like, or things that I'm interested in. And while I really do think that I'm interested in some things, like one thing I think I really want to do is like be a DJ. And so one random day I told my husband to like take me to the music store. I'm like, I want to be a DJ. And literally I bought like the DJ board and everything. I probably did it for a weekend or two and I haven't touched it. But I actually do want to be a DJ. Like I really want to be a DJ. Same thing with skates. Like I bought some skates and like cute as hell. I was skating all up in my dorm, all that stuff. Have not touched those skates. Like I want to be the skate girl. You know what I'm saying? Food noise. I would consistently be thinking about food. Now that I'm medicated for ADHD, I do not think about food like that. Like I don't like these intense cravings. Like I would like always be thinking about food, what I wanted to eat. I always knew what I wanted to eat. Like it would kind of be like insane. The only thing that I think that like also was able to mask my ADHD for so long is the fact that I was a dancer. And so being a dancer, like it puts you like physically in your body and kind of out of your mind. And it kind of forces me, like I have to go to dance class, I have to go to this audition. So it forces me to be present in that way. But even like things like retaining choreography was something that I had to like strategize to do, because it would be really hard for me to like pick up choreography in high stress situations and remember. Like I could perform my butt off, but like it's gonna take me a little while to remember that choreography. Yeah, I mean, so many more things, but that's how I kind of found out I had ADHD. Literally my mom's birthday party, and I have been on and off medication ever since, just dealing with like, my pregnancy and things like that. But I will say that it has been life-changing to know. And at first I felt kind of like shameful of it and just like insecure about like the idea of being neurodivergent. But while I do think it is such a superpower, I also do see the ways in which like it can be harmful to move around with unmedicated ADHD and to just be in this world. But I think sometimes, especially as high achieving Black women, we get overlooked for it all the time. And so I just think it's so important to, one, if you feel like something is different, if you feel like something is off, if you feel like you're suffering in a way that like is just unusual, or you don't feel like you see everybody else suffering in that way, get help, reach out for help. Like you are not crazy, and you don't have to wait till you're good and grown. And if you're good and grown, you don't have to wait till you're good and growner. So yeah.